Hello friends, this is Dr. Antoine, Doctor in International Entrepreneurship. I'm General Director of Elan Consult, which is a firm specialized in capacity building, in auditing, in taxation, bookkeeping, and I'm going to show you another method among multi-criteria decision-making methods. The method I'm going to present to you is called weighted aggregated sum product assessment, WASPAS. This method was developed by WASPAS in 2013, and this method is a combination of two methods that I have presented: weighted sum model and weighted product model. And the formula for this to find the preference score of WASPAS, you take 0.5 multiplied by the preference score of weighted sum model plus 0.5 multiplied by the score for weighted product model. And if you remember, I have presented different methods: the weighted sum model, weighted product model. These two methods were combined to get a preference score in WASPAS. This method I'm explaining now. And I have presented also evaluation based on distance from average solution. And thus, I have presented also objective optimization on the basis of simple ratio analysis, MOSFA. I have shown also technique for order preference by similarity to ideal solution, TOPSIS. I also presented preference selection index method, PSI, additive ratio assessment, AROS, B-core, multi-criteria optimization on compromise solutions, meet objective optimization on the basics of ratio analysis, MORA. I also presented complex proportional assessment, COPLAS. Now, friends, according to the formula presented by WASPAS in 2013, I'm going to show you step by step how you can use these methods to make a better decision. Remember, since the first method, I have been using this decision matrix, and I told you that the interest of using one matrix is that we can see if there is any difference in the final decision or the final proposition of the best alternative. Now, friends, the problem we have here is a car selection problem where we must choose a car among 10 cars. It may be 10 or more than 10 or less than 10. And the criteria we are using here, we have 6 criteria, 8 criteria, but it may be more than 6 criteria or less than 6 criteria. But when you understand the steps for each method, you can use it without any problem. It is better to follow how each method is conducted, and you are able to execute the same procedure so as to make a better decision, so as to find the best solution or to choose the best alternative. Now, to evaluate the car, we use quality, stereo, conditions, security, delivery days, fuel consumption, and price. You can add any other criteria that you want. And as you can see here, these criteria do not have same neutral. This is the price is neutral in euro. This is in consumption. This is in days, but all these values are ordinal values. When, for instance, you say when it is good quality, you give, for instance, 5. When it is average, you give, for instance, 4. When it is medium or bad quality, for instance, you give 1. It is the same for condition and security. Now, as you understand, it is ordinal numbers, and it refers to good quality, extremely good quality, or bad quality, or average, and so on. Now you understand that you cannot make summation of this value. And another thing you can see, for instance, friends, when you add this value, when you, for instance, make summation, you will understand that this price will have a higher impact on the final score. but we need the car with the lowest price as these non-beneficial attributes. And as you also can remind you the difference between beneficial criteria and non-beneficial criteria. Beneficial criteria is this criteria that we need the highest value or the higher the better, and for non-beneficial criteria is those criteria, for instance, that we need the smallest value or smaller the better. Now, friends, we have also weights, which indicate the importance of each criteria in decision making. And now, the first thing now we do is to normalize our decision matrix, because our decision matrix do not have our decision matrix, the value of our decision matrix do not have same user. That's why we have to make normalization. And the way we are going to make normalization, matrix normalization, depends whether the criteria is beneficial or non-beneficial. For beneficial criteria, we will take each value divided by the maximum value among these values. For instance, we choose the maximum value here, and here also, because those criteria are considered as beneficial criteria. But for non-beneficial criteria, as you see the formula, we will consider minimum value divided by each value. For instance, here we will look for the minimum value among these values, and we divide each value, the minimum, by this value, and so on. The same for price, we look for the minimum price, and we divide the minimum value by this value, and so on. Okay, friends, let's go. Now you understand how we make normalization of our matrix. This is beneficial criteria. Now I will just take each value here like this, divided by the maximum value in these criteria, call it values, like this. But friends, we have to fix this matrix so as to copy the formula. You see the way I inserted dollar between letter C and this number. And now I press enter, and with this I can copy the formula for beneficial criteria only. You must pay so much attention on the way your criteria are presented in your decision matrix, because when, for instance, here the criteria we have here is not beneficial, you cannot copy like this, for instance, like this. Now it's better to understand how your criteria are classified or are grouped so as to copy the formula or not. Okay, friends, I finished normalization in beneficial attributes. For non-beneficial attributes, now they say we consider the minimum value divided by each value. Now I have to look in this criteria delivery days, minimum value. Now I have to use a function minimum like this, and I have to indicate our matrix where I'm looking at the minimum value, but I have to fix this value. With this value like this, so as to copy the formula, and I divide by each value here like this, friends. Now I can copy this formula in all rows for non-beneficial attributes or non-beneficial criteria. Same. Now the next thing here, remember the way we found preference score in weighted sum model and the weighted product model. For weighted sum model, we have to consider each value, this value multiplied by the weight. We will take this value multiplied by this weight, this value multiplied by this weight, this value multiplied, and so on. And to find the preference score, we make summation. But in weighted product model, we will take this value and to the power of this weight, this value to the power of this value to the power of this value, and so on. and we will make a product. Instead of adding these values, we will make product. Let's go, friends. I will show you. Here we are in weighted sum model. I'm calculating normalized weighted matrix for weighted sum model. Now I take normalize the matrix like this, multiply it like this, this is the weight, and I fix this formula so as to drag or to copy the formula like this. Like this, friends. I copied this formula like this, and then what I do, I copy down this formula for all rows. Now I finished to make normalized weighted matrix. Normalized weighted matrix. Now I go normally to find the score. It is just to make summation of this value. Now you see, as you see, for instance, here it is 0.723. Okay, now I go for normalized weighted matrix for weighted product model. Now I will put my normalized matrix to the power of each criteria like this, friends. I go in a normalized matrix. Look, friends, this, I take this value to the power of the weight like this, friends. But I have to fix this value so as to copy this formula in all rows like this. And now I will make a copy of this formula. I raise to the power of weight normalized matrix, and I can copy down this formula. Now what is next is to calculate preference score for weighted sum model. I told you it is just making summation of like this. I use some product, so I use some function, but I come in weighted normalized matrix here for weighted sum model. This one, I make summation of this value as I told you like this. I press enter, and I can copy down this formula like this, friends. So like this. Now I do the same, but the formula is not the same for weighted product model. I will use a function called produit or product in French, but in my computer, because it is a French computer, I use produit. It is a function in Excel which can make a product of this value. We are in weighted product model. I make produit this function like this, and I can copy down this formula like this, ones like this. Okay, now I'm going to calculate the preference score for WASPAS by using this formula. I will take 0.5 multiplied by this value plus 0.5 multiplied by this value. I press enter, and I copy down this formula like this, friends. Now I'm going to rank. As you can see, card 5 is selected by all these methods. Now I'm going to make it to rank. You will see rank. This I will begin by WASPAS rank function. Rank when you use English computer, but in French is the function rank. This number from this matrix, so I have to fix the matrix so as to copy down the formula. I press F4 like this. Now I can copy this formula, and I go for weighted product model. I do the same. I rank weighted rank like this. That is rank for when you use English computer. Weighted product model, it is here. I rank this value from this matrix, which will be fixed so as to make copy of this formula like this. I press F4 like this. Also I press F4 here. F4, I can copy this formula like this. I do the same for weighted sum model. It is equal length like this. I go in weighted sum model like this one, and I show the matrix like this, and I have to fix, of course, this matrix to copy down to formula or other values, other cars, like this, friends, like this. Now, as you can see here, the car 5 is ranked 1 by our method. I think when you followed my previous video, you see how I can highlight these values you see here with this color. And you know, I do like this, just I select the color. For instance, here I come here, I select here, and I select this. You will find here top, bottom, but for the highest value you will see top 10. I think it will be like, I think like that top 10 when you are selecting here, but here we need the smallest value to be bottom. I think it will be bottom, and you come here, press here, and you just indicate one value like this, and you press OK, and you choose the color. If you want to choose the color, you change the color. For instance, you can use, for instance, like this, and when you do like this, you see it will change. And when you, for the highest value, you select also the formula, the color, the data like this. You go here, and it will be top 10, I think. And I just need one value. I can change the color, so it's just to show you how it works. You see now, when I change here, the color changes. For instance, I use for instance here, no, I'm choosing another color. For instance, this one, it's okay. Okay, friends, now when you can see here the result, the first car was classified 4 by our method. Car 2, our method, it was classified 3. And also for car 4 was classified at the second position by our methods. 5 was classified first by our methods. Car 6 was classified 7 by our methods, and car 7, 10 was classified 10 by our method. Car 8 was classified 6 by WASPAS and weighted product model, but not by weighted sum model. And car 9 was classified 9 by our methods, and car 10 was classified 8 position by our methods. Now, friends, you see that the conclusion of WASPAS method is similar to previous method I have presented. This method I have already presented. In terms of proposition, car 5 also is considered as to be the best car to be bought by this company in this example, in our example. And the final decision, you see, it is not different from the decision from other methods that I have presented. Okay, friends, this is the end of my presentation. If you like this video, you can share it, and I invite you to subscribe to my channel so as to support my channel. And I also remind you that it is possible to get a certificate, and when you have followed my videos, you just need to discuss the condition, and you have to pass also exam, which must show that you have followed. And this certificate can be issued by Elan Consult, which is a company with more than 12 years experience. And thank you for watching my video. For next video, bye.